magnetic Joy-Cons, a larger screen, and who knows just how powerful this baby is. And while there's been rumors and leaks about stuff just like that, I guess we have to wait a couple of weeks to find out for ourselves. And until then, we can just hope and dream of what this godly machine is capable of. But this is Nintendo we're talking about, so it's obviously software first. So what can we expect on that? Honestly, I had no idea. But let's switch up the question a bit and ask, what do I want to see? You don't have to fix what isn't broken, or try to reinvent the wheel a second time. That's just unnecessary work and will quickly feel, forced. Kind of like a bad theater performance, or a cover song that adds in fancy bits just for the sake of being different. The Nintendo Switch 2 looks to be exactly what we need, and exactly what I personally wanted. It's just perfecting more of what is already perfect, so who's to complain? The home console handheld hybrid feels like Nintendo's console history really coming together. The Game Boy to the 3DS, the NES to the Wii U, all of it combined into one single machine. And now we get that once again, but better, more powerful, more delightful. I have a confession. I have not played as many classics as I probably should have. And I know those words are things to be slaughtered by. But it's not because I don't like them. It's simply an issue I have of properly sitting down, taking my time to really enjoy a video game without feeling like there's 1,001 other things I probably should have done instead. It's something I'm working on. So while I haven't personally experienced many classics and games I probably should have played, I do follow closely new games when they release and reviewers' opinions on these wonderful pieces of entertainment we have in our hands, as well as games that are coming up in the future. But there are actually certain scenarios where I do allow myself to really properly and fully sit down to enjoy them from start to finish. These are simply games I am way too excited for, that I cannot allow myself to miss out. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Odyssey, a new Call of Duty game from time to time, the Repentance DLC for The Binding of Isaac, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I mean, it's a weird mix of games, but my enjoyment of pieces of media and pieces of art are very broad. And based on that, let's look at some games that I would figuratively give my arm for. Or to say it with some other words, these are the games I hope will become a reality with the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's take a look. Ocarina of Time, I'm honestly quite baffled that you haven't been on the big high-definition screen yet, seeing as you're one of the most popular and well-received games in history. I, like many others, have nostalgia for this one. It's not my first Zelda game, as that was the Wind Waker, but in that special edition box that we had, a bonus disc existed with a second Zelda game, something that sparked excitement in the young me. And this was, of course, Ocarina of Time. And since the Wind Waker was my point of reference in terms of what a Zelda game is, Ocarina always felt a bit chilling. It was darker, clearly an older game, with a completely different style. Is this game dated? Yes, but not even close to how much I'd expect it to be, considering this game is from 1998, and also the first 3D Zelda game ever to be made. I mean, come on. If the game is important to video game history, which it is, and still holds up fairly well almost 30 years later, which it does, we can call that impressive. We saw a remake of this one on the 3DS, and I feel it did essentially everything better. Graphics stayed true to the original, controls were better, quality of life changes improved the gameplay experience all over, and the game ran much better. So why stop there? Give us one of the most classic games in history in HD, pretty please. Remaster the music, show us everything the Switch 2 is graphically capable of, and improve what can be and should be improved. Oh, and include Master Quest, of course. It's the perfect time to introduce a new generation to this specific Hyrule, especially now that Tears of the Kingdom and all of its parallel to Ocarina of Time is out there in the wild. I may be a bit biased towards Wario Land. Maybe it's not as great as my inner child screams it is, but no, I like to think it is. This series is as great as I make it out to be. As my defendant, I choose to look at Pizza Tower and Anton Blast, two recently indie games heavily inspired by Wario Land. From the more brutal, crazy and bizarre nature to the fast-paced gameplay and even some instrument sample from Wario Land 4 being used in these games' soundtracks. We all know how popular these games became. Perhaps Pizza Tower in particular, if only Nintendo had kept some faith in this formula and given it another shot. Perhaps they could have had their version of Pizza Tower succeed. But it's not too late. They have the original Peppino, the original Anton, right there, ready to throw into a new adventure. I have a deep hope that Pizza Tower and Anton Blast may just have sparked some life back into Wario Land and Nintendo's faith in the series. The last one we had was Wario Land Shake It. It was a bit on the slow side? Yeah. Did it lack the surreal Wario charm that dips its toes into the creepy waters? Also yes. Wario Land Shake It was a safe game in the gameplay department, and I think we now see that the Wario Land style may just need the complete opposite of that. We need chaos, insanity, high speed, with a slight spice of horror mixed in for good measure. This is the perfect time to make another Wario Land. The market is there, clearly, and it's been long enough since the last entry to where an announcement would create immense excitement. A whole new generation of fans of this genre. Much thanks to Anton Blast and Pizza Tower. It's time, I think. Don't you think so too? Metroid is back in the spotlight. It's been a rough life for this franchise. It's been high up there actually, on the tallest of the tall tops, all the way down to buried in the deep mud, with no one to pick them back up. And then we got Metroid 5, or Metroid Dread, alongside the announcement of Metroid Prime 4. What a euphoric experience for fans who've been thirsty for something good for so long. And oh boy, how Dread delivered. Never have Samus Aran moved so smoothly and swiftly. Never have boss fights been this difficult. And never have we seen her in this state of, can we call it badassery? It's safe to say that Metroid Dread was a massive success, and Prime 4 looks to be one of the most anticipated games coming in the near future. Metroid is back. And it's back up from the mud, and all clean and shiny again. Get Mercury's team on it. Make Metroid 6 a new 2D Metroid, as they clearly are starting to perfect the genre. Put your faith in them in making another gem. I know I would. And it just makes me happy to see the franchise blossom again. It felt like an underdog for so long that I rooted for him, and now I'm seeing my favorite athlete just doing better and better. And it warms me a little bit. And the games are great, of course, so give us more. And then, of course, there is... Well, you already know the game, the one that's almost become a legend at this point. The one we whisper about, because saying its name too loudly might break the illusion that it's real. It's Silk Song, if it still exists. I would honestly be satisfied and really happy if the 3.5 segments that I talked about would become true. Honestly, I have quite a bit more faith that the first 3 ones will become a reality before the 4th one at this point. And it won't be long now until we see more of the Nintendo Switch 2 and what it has to offer in terms of the hardware, but also the software, the games, Mario Kart 9, and Donkey Kong's brand new, or kind of new, design. It's gonna be glorious, isn't it? And if you enjoyed this video that you're watching, I have a little lounge that you can join where there are lots of small goodies. It's also called my Patreon. You can check it out here. It is a $3 a month deal, but you get not one, not two, but you get around 10 benefits from it. Everything from videos early to being able to participate in voting for what I'm gonna make next in my next video, as well as having me showcasing the work in my videos and other goodies as well. If you're interested, check it out. It's in the description below. And please tell me in the comment section below this video, what are your hopes for the Nintendo Switch 2? What games do you want to see and what specs or features for the hardware do you want to see on the console? I look forward to reading each and every one of them with my now semi-cold coffee. All right, take care.